Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today is a fun one. Today you guys are gonna watch me make a huge mess of my face trying out this brand new Huda Beauty Tantour product. I make such a mess that I end up having to go and wash everything off and restart. But we learned some things in the process. So I'm going to get into all of the information on this new Tantour contour and bronzer cream. And then we're going to get into the demo and see what went wrong. So this is, like I said, brand new to the market. It is a cream to powder formula and it comes in 5 different shades. I have the shade Fair, and on Huda Beauty's website it says that Fair is a neutral honey shade recommended for fair to light complexions, and I consider myself to be light complected. Now for the other shades, there's also Light, which is a soft caramel shade recommended for light to medium complexions. That's probably what I would need during the summer. And then we have Medium, a neutral mocha shade recommended for medium to tan complexions. Tan, a deep cocoa shade recommended for deep tan to rich complexions. And lastly, Rich, a deep mahogany shade recommended for rich to ultra rich complexions. Now these all retail for $30, and what it says is that it's a luxurious cream to powder contour and bronzer. And I've got to tell you that this definitely leans on the contour side. I'm going to show you right up against my Soleil Tan de Chanel, which is a definite bronzer. Let me show you. So if you can see, let me put them side by side. This one definitely has a lot more warmth to it than the Huda product. This deeply pigmented cream to powder bronzer gives you a natural bronze look or a dramatic contour as you layer and build. So this is a buildable product. You can put it on very lightly, which is kind of how I have it on right now, or build it up, and there is a lot of pigmentation in this. Trust me. Tantour combines a balance of shadow and warmth for a luminous matte glow that's never dull. Blending seamlessly, the long-lasting formula is both water and sweat resistant. She also came out with a brush for this product, but I have 10 million brushes. I was like, I do not need that. I knew that I had my trusty MAC 170, which I use for pretty much any cream products. I think it's one of the best ones you can get. It's a lot like the Hourglass foundation brush. So yeah, this is the one I'm using when I mess things up. But anywho, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you guys what I tried out. I tried this a few different ways. I wanted to see what it looked like on top of just your foundation. So for those people that are not going to set your makeup at all, you like to keep everything just creams, I show you what it looks like on top of just my foundation, no powder at all. And then I'm going to show you what happens when you put powder on top of this shade. And then I show you what happens when I use a brush, this one right here, to go on top of a set face. So in this clip right here, I am going in with my brush and the product, and I'm kind of stamping it on. And again, there's no powder on my face. I feel like this does blend out very well. You can see there's instant pigmentation there, but it blends out very nicely. And then I just took my sponge, which I use for my concealer, and I just kind of went right around the edges to help blend it out. And I think this looks absolutely beautiful. It is slightly luminous without it being like greasy looking. I thought it was a perfect color for me. It was stunning. And then I did go ahead and set it. So I baked underneath my eyes with my Huda baking powder, and then I used my, where is it at? My La Mer translucent powder over top, and I feel like I lost a little bit of the color. So I would either have to build this up just a little bit to make it come through if I wanted to put powder on top of this, or just go up a shade. But I think that for me, and being an NC20, I would probably just build up the product just a little bit more in order to see this through the powder. Then we try this brush And I dipped into the product and I went straight on. As you can see, it's much more pigmented. I had this whole side of my face already powdered. So I had everything powdered. I was baked. I was good. We were set, done. And it grabbed a hold and I was able to blend, but it gave me a huge mark right here that was just missing. It was completely gone and I had too much pigmentation. So I thought, you know what? I bet this style of brush, because it's so densely packed, it's gonna work really well when it's on cream, but I think I wanna try out a sponge. So what I did was take my Linda Hallberg sponge, and on this side, I had already powdered, so you know, you saw me put it on the cream and then you saw me powder. Now I figured, what the heck? I want to see what happens if I use this little sponge, not as wet as it would be if I was using this for foundation. So it's slightly damp and I pick it up, I tap the excess, I still have it on my hand right here, tap the excess off first, and then I start going in and I can see that this is how it's going to work on top of powder. So luckily this works both or all three ways. So you can use this underneath powder, you can use it alone, and you can use it on top of powder. You just have to use the right method and be careful whenever you're going on top of powder. So I took all my makeup off and I did not put any of this underneath my powder. I set my entire face. I have no bronzer on. All I did was use that method, and instead of leaving it as round, I kind of pinched it a little bit and got it right where I wanted and then started to let it out. And I feel like the finished look was beautiful. And I feel like on top of powder and with a slightly damp sponge, it's not as contour looking. I can see where she has the warmth kind of in there. I feel like this is not too cool and it's not too warm. It is perfect for me. I actually really like the way this blended out. I like the way it looks on my skin. I don't think that I look dry. I don't feel like it clung anywhere, and I have no complaints. I think this is beautiful, but I do not suggest setting your face and then going in with this style of brush. You know, maybe something fluffier might work, but I just think this is the easiest route if you wanted to do that. Now, I wanted to give you guys some comparisons. So again, this is the shade Fair. And you guys saw right up against my Soleil Tan de Chanel. I get asked all the time now, like, Mel, why don't you use your Soleil Tan de Chanel anymore? Because I used to use this like nobody's business. As you can see, I hit pan. And the biggest reasons why I don't use cream products like this, even if I really like the way they look, is because with platinum hair and a cream product, it tends to start to stain, where I always have to take a wipe and get bronzer and makeup out of my hair. I feel like cream products do start to stain, so I have to be careful with them. What I want to do right now is kind of touch both of these. So here we have the Soleil Tan de Chanel, which you can barely see, and then the Tantour. You can see these are two completely opposite colors. This one's definitely just a bronzer, and this one's definitely cooler toned. Now, the difference in texture, the Tantour has just a little bit more creaminess to it. I think they both set down to a powdery type of finish, but I think that the Soleil Tan de Chanel sets to a slightly more powdery finish than what this one does. But both products are absolutely beautiful and comparable, not the same, but comparable in the way that they go onto the skin. Now, I also wanted to go ahead and grab my Natasha Denona Sculpt and Glow palette. And I wanted to show you guys this right here. This is the cream contour. And what is this? This is the light medium palette. And I'm just gonna go right in here. And this is a much stiffer formula. When you touch the other ones, you kind of get this like creaminess. This one's definitely much stiffer, but you can see this one is even like a little bit darker and even more cool toned than the Tantour. So I will have these on my daughter's arm so you can see them all side by side, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a comparison. But with this versus the Tantour, I definitely suggest the Tantour from Huda. I think it's way easier to use, less expensive, and there's a larger shade range. So for my thoughts on this product, I think it works really well. I think it's beautiful. I think it's natural. I definitely think that you could carve out a face with this and make it really dramatic if you wanted to. That's not really my style, but I think this is really well done. And in comparison to price, if you think about it, this one is $30 US and you're getting 11 grams of product. People always talk about how expensive the Chanel is. This is 50, I believe, US dollars. This is 30 grams. 30 grams, $50, 11 grams, $30. So just keep that in mind. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more on the bronzing side instead of the contouring side, this is like the best thing in the entire world for cream bronzer. It's my favorite thing I've ever tried, and I've tried several. Like, this thing is the bomb. I'm telling you, if it wasn't for my hair, I would still be using it. Anywho, you guys let me know what you think. What do you think about the final result? What do you think about my big patch that I had whenever I try to go with the brush? And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.